Marquez, welcome to the podcast, man.
Thanks for having me.
I'll admit, I've been a fan of yours for a very long time. So this is a selfish podcast. This almost has nothing to do with anything except for my love of tech and my love of what you do. If I think about what this conversation would have been, let's say, 10 years ago, it would have just been about gadgets. I'd be like, hey, Marquez, what do you think of the Galaxy? Which one do you think we should get? What do you think of the HTC? And then maybe like 5 years ago, I would have been like, VR, what do you think? We're going with the Vive? What do you think we're going to do? How do you rate the Oculus? I think that's what it would have been. Now I feel like tech has become the forefront of everything that everyone talks about. Tech used to be the realm of like tech nerds. Mm-hmm. And then now even like a mom who's not connected to tech, and yes, I'm looking at you, Christiana, is going, what is AI? What is my phone doing? What is technology? Maybe that's the first question I have for you is like, what has it been like being arguably the most influential person in the world of tech and watching tech go from being a niche conversation to something that even like senators and presidents are talking about now?
I felt lucky, first of all, as like a content creator that the topic of my videos is ever evolving and it's ever interesting. So I don't have to be interesting. It's just the tech that always changes. But you're right. The conversations in especially our political atmosphere, like there's way more tech on the tips of people's tongues. I just made a video about AI and everyone's talking about AI now. It's everywhere. Yeah. So it is, I think how I describe it is the weight of the publish button is a little heavier, but it's a good place to be.
So here's what I think about AI, and I'd love to know how you see it because you've had such an interesting journey with it. Like, I think AI is experiencing a weird PR nightmare because many of the people who make AI are trying to promise that AI can do everything and will do everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Partially because they want the value of their companies to shoot up. Yeah. And they just want billions of dollars. And then maybe partially because they believe some of it, right? But then because they're doing that, people in the streets now think that AI is going to do everything, can do everything, can think for them, and then is going to come and kill them in their sleep. And I feel like, and again, I'm going to be wrong depending on time. I think in tech, you are always wrong. It just depends on when you are saying the thing, or you're right. It depends on when you're saying it. I feel like most of what AI is going to be is just like very good at doing stuff for you, assistant world type thing. But I don't think we're getting the Terminator tomorrow. And I'd love to know what you think, because you play with it way more than I do, but you're also like in the space,
Yeah. Okay. So every technology has a bit of a curve to start. It's this really, really steep improvement curve, and then it levels out, and then it sort of flatlines at some point, right? Yeah. Like, what's the difference between the iPhone 15 and 16? Like, not that much. So we're flattened out with the mature categories, if you will. I
just felt Apple convulse as you said that. Marquez Brownlee says not that much.
But what's the difference between the first iPhone and the second iPhone? That was like, we've doubled the screen resolution. We've added a camera. Like, there's huge, huge differences, right? So every tech does this. EVs are going through this right now. And AI is doing the same thing, right? So it's going through this really, really steep improvement, and no one knows where the flat line is, which is the concerning part. Is it above human intelligence? Is it right below? Is it way, way higher? Is it going to take over? We don't know. We just know we're in this steep thing, and everyone's sort of projecting it to be this amazing future. And it could be an amazing future or not. We don't know. It's just up to the tech. It's up to the people working on it. It's also a little bit up to the people regulating the people working on it. But it is in that exciting, interesting, steep phase where everyone pays attention to it.
In your like dream scenario, what do you think AI would be able to do for us? Because right now, like, I hate AI. I'm scared. I think it's weird shit. I'm scared. Yeah. I think we should shut it all down. But I'm curious about, kind of like AI enthusiasts, like what's the best case scenario in terms of this thing helping the world?
This is your moment, Marquez. Winner over. Winner over for me, please.
Pitch me.
Okay, let me paint you a picture. So your phone is the most useful tool you have, basically. It knows basically everything about you. If you could, and this is something I would love to do, I would like hire a personal assistant that knows everything about me. But most of us don't have that luxury. Most of us don't want to pay for that. But picture this. You wake up in the morning and you immediately get a report of where you need to be at what times during the day, of what time you need to leave your house based on traffic, based on your calendar to get to your next appointment. It tells you everything you need to know about your next meeting and who's in that meeting and what you should be bringing to that meeting. And it's just super helpful for you all the time because it knows everything about you. That, to me, is pretty sweet. And it's without me having to have a person know everything about me. It's just the AI has the information in my phone and can give me all this value. I think when people picture AI, though, just because it's called intelligence, I think people are picturing like this sort of general human intelligence in the form of a robot, which is maybe not what we need. I think there's a lot of humanoid robot-shaped things walking around with companies trying to make them do interesting things. And I think when you say you hate AI, you've probably seen some of those too. And I don't think we need that either.
If you were in charge of this, what do you think you would regulate? Because I'll be honest with you, I don't think most of the people in the government have an idea of what to regulate because they don't even understand what it is.
Yeah.
And I mean this on like a rudimentary level. I'm not an AI expert, but I know a lot more than the people who are supposed to regulate AI. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess the whole idea is to prevent it from being able to do bad things or ever doing anything bad. And up until this point, a lot of the regulation has been in the hands of those making it. Like I'll just use my recent example. I made a video about Sora, which is OpenAI's video generation tool.
Yeah.
And they self-impose their own limits of like, this will not represent people's likenesses. This will not generate anything with, violent acts. It won't do anything with minors. And I think a lot of those very basic, obvious regulations, which is like, okay, this should not be used to harm people. It should not be used to deliberately misinform people. Some version of that is what we're all after. I don't know. Again, I'm not a politician. I don't know how that ends up becoming a law, but we're all after that. We just want it to be safe and not hurt people, but all preserve all the upside of being super useful, super convenient, artificial intelligence.
I guess I come from it because, like, as a writer, all this machine learning, it's taking people's innate and creative thoughts. I think what they're feeding the machine kind of worries me. I think it's plagiarism, right? I honestly
actually, this is a great. Yeah, I mean, you experienced this head on, by the way. Like, no, Marquez, you found out that AI models, they were basically, stealing your content, taking your content without your permission, using your work to train themselves. Like, what exactly happened there? How did you discover this?
Yeah. Okay. So, in a basic level, these models, in order to be as intelligent as possible, need to know as much as possible. So the companies making them in this race to make them as good as possible, they are trying to train them on as much data as they can possibly get their hands on. Kind of just the entire internet if they can. So if I ask it for a picture of a silver Porsche Macan, then it knows what silver is, it knows what a Porsche Macan is, and it can make that because it knows everything. And it turns out these enormous data sets with billions and billions of data points, a lot of the pieces of data in them are questionably sourced. They'll come from publicly available, but also just YouTube videos taken from creators. They'll just start scraping things from websites that journalists have written, and they didn't really agree for their work to be scraped, but it's in there too. So I've come across several data sets that have been used to train these models that include hundreds of my videos. And that's concerning because now there is theoretically an ability for someone to ask for a video or a photo in the style of an MKBHD video, and it would actually be able to reproduce that. So I feel you. I actually did a video with Sora where I asked it for a video of a tech reviewer.
Oh, this was amazing, by the way.
And all I really asked for was a tech reviewer sitting at a desk with a phone in his hand. And it gave me a generated video of that. And without me asking, it put a little fake green plant on the desk in front of him. I didn't ask for that. That was Sora's own creative decision based on me asking for a tech reviewer. And I saw that plant and I went like, I've seen that plant before because that plant has been in many of my videos and many other tech reviewers' videos. And Sora has seen that plant somehow, meaning it's been trained on some data that for some reason it thought that there should be one of those plants in that video. So yeah, I kind of have no choice but to believe lots of my work has been taken and is being used to train
it's like this
these
type
models.
of thing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
so,
but it's so random. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not.
No, what I mean is this is not the hallmark of tech reviews. I feel like you're skipping over one of the elephants in the room. You typed in just basic sentence. You said tech reviewer,
and it
right?
showed him himself.
Yeah, but it showed you, I thought this was amazing. It showed you a black tech reviewer. I know the plant is like specific.
Yeah.
But I also think there's a level of like being the Michael Jordan of this shit that you sometimes, because you're a humble guy, but I don't know, man, was there a little part of you that went, even AI, if you say tech reviewer, it's like, well, I mean, if you want tech reviewer, the definition of tech reviewer is a person who looks like this.
A black guy with a plant.
Yeah, and I'm saying this, I'm not even saying this for like, some people are like, it's a race thing. No, it's not a race thing. It's like, because there is almost nobody in the tech game who is black, who is at your level.
Yeah.
It is only you. But it's crazy that you've dominated the game that much that AI goes, yeah, this has to be, there must have been a little part of you that felt good.
Maybe a little bit. I always have to be careful with that because I can never quite fully attribute, like I hear what you're saying. I remember a long time ago, maybe 8, 9, 10 years ago, I went to a conference and there was a little billboard and it was a tech conference and there was a cartoon black character with like this red and black striped shirt. And in my profile picture at the time, it had the same hairstyle as me. It was a cartoon and it had I was wearing the same striped shirt and I was like, I think that's me. I don't really know if I can say it's me. I'm like 93% sure it's me. But I think, again, these are models that are like using some form of a statistical mean to find what they end up creating. It's like if the thing that you feed it is common enough, it'll spit it out. So if there is enough videos of me in the training data, then you ask for things with keywords that relate to me and it'll probably make something that looks like me. And I guess that's what it's supposed to do. Not great.
I think it means you killed it. I understand all of the concerns and the privacy but I think there's also a moment of being like, like imagine if the machines do take over, the machines will be like, Marquez, you are Marquez Brownlee. I mean, that's a pretty cool place to be, I think.
It's like when you Google something, you're the first result. You're like, all right, that's good. I guess
exactly.
I made it.
Yeah, depending on what you're Googling, but yeah. Let's talk a little bit about like the world that tech inhabits now. Like, like when you started off, I've watched that first video that you uploaded. It's a young Marquez, and you're just talking about like the devices that you like, and you have like no great equipment. It's you and I think your bedroom.
All right, welcome to my first video. Bought a new laptop, and it's an HP Pavilion DV7T. So of course I got the Media Center remote with it. Quite a nice remote.
It's just a kid who likes tech, and that's what tech was for many people. And now you say tech, people are in front of Congress. The European Union is making laws against it. And maybe I'll clarify by saying it this way. There was a time when hip hop was niche, right? If you listen to hip hop or if you performed hip hop, people were like, "Whoa, what is this? The hippity hop? Whoa, very interesting." And then now hip hop is ubiquitous, right? You watch a T-Mobile ad and there's a hip hop song playing. That was not a normal thing a very long time ago. I feel like tech is in that space now where it's sort of aged out of being this novel new idea and has now become like the dominant force, almost to the point of being like hated and people being afraid of it. When you think of like big tech or the idea of tech, like where do you think we are from your perspective?
The word that comes to mind for me was saturated, but I also think there's a bunch of different parts of tech now. So when I was starting, when you saw that old 15-year-old video of me holding a little remote control up to the webcam of the laptop, that to me was gadgets. And that's a part of tech, but like I've always loved gadgets. I've loved the little knickknacks, little camera stuff, a little accessory to my phone that I'm plugging in. Like gadgets they've always been tech, but that's a part of tech.
Yeah.
Another part of tech is social networks, right? So we remember the MySpace days, and then suddenly Facebook comes along, and now, oh wait, you can have both a Facebook and an Instagram and a Snapchat, and a YouTube channel. Like it's this sudden massive thing, and social networks is a part of tech, but they've grown independently. Then there's just production too. Like when I started with just that laptop on YouTube, that was a good enough video for people to click subscribe. Believe it or not, 15 years ago. I upload that video today and people are like, what happened to you? Like, what went wrong? Because the barrier for entry is so much higher. Or not the barrier for entry, but the expectations are so much higher in production and cameras and on YouTube as well. And I love that too. I'm a video nerd, so I'm about that. But yeah, I guess I divide tech into a bunch of different buckets, and then I have feelings about each of the buckets.
Let's talk about some of those feelings, because I feel like you're uniquely positioned to get into this. Social media, that's a tech that everyone understands and everyone's affected by, and it's properly in the spotlight.
Yeah.
My belief is, I think the biggest mistake the United States made was creating that law that immunized tech companies from being sued or held liable for the things that were held on their platforms. Because I think what they've done now is, what is it, Section 230? I am not good with numbers and remembering dates.
That's it.
But I think that's what it was. Because what they've done is they've abused that rule, which was meant to encourage the growth of their business. And now they've made it so that they can push things on us as people and not get held liable. Because here's the thing, and I think this is a key distinction for me. If somebody writes something on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, where you put a video, whatever it is, okay, fine, you did that. I don't think that the company should be held liable. But if they push that video out to people because they think it's catchy and grabby, I don't understand why they're not getting sued or why they're not being held liable. If somebody got radicalized by fake news that was pushed to them and they act on that fake news, how are these companies not liable?
Yeah. So it's interesting what you said was like social media is one of those things that's just simple and everyone understands it. But I actually do think there's a lot of nuance to it that people don't understand. I think something I learned about YouTube recently, and I literally learned that this year, is I think as a creator, I'm always like trying to make videos that YouTube will push out. And when I ask YouTube about things that I can do in a video to get them to push it more out, they said to me, no, that's not actually how this works. YouTube doesn't take videos and push them out. YouTube treats every individual account logging in and goes and searches for the things that they're most likely to watch and brings it in for them.
Oh,
so
wow. Wait, say that all again. So YouTube doesn't... So
YouTube isn't pushing my video out to as many people randomly as possible. YouTube is for each individual that logs in, pulling videos that they think are good for them and relevant for them. So when you publish a video and it goes really viral and you feel like YouTube's pushing it out for you, what's really happening is you've made a video that the first few people who engage with it really liked it, and then subsequent people who logged in that were similar, YouTube thought, I've seen this type of person before, they're going to like this video, and then it shared it with that type of person. So you're creating a thing that people have engaged with, and YouTube is what feels like rewarding you by
finding
hopefully other people finding those people. Exactly. So it does feel like YouTube does bear some responsibility for all of this because they wrote those algorithms. They're responsible for this behavior inside of that sort of microcosm. Mm-hmm. But it's not exactly YouTube, like someone at the controls going, all right, push this video, don't push this video, push this video. So it's complicated.
So that means there's no YouTube plants, because I know loads of people have that conspiracy that YouTube plants these creators and that's why they're so popular. So you're saying that
Wait, have you ever been called one of those?
I've never, no, because I started from 2009.
Oh, but I think okay, you got grandfathered in.
Yeah, but I've seen what you're talking about, which is like someone shows up. What really happens is like someone will show up and they'll immediately have like videos with a bunch of celebrities, and you're like, how did all these people end up getting on this channel so fast? And that feels like a plant. Mm-hmm. But there are also channels. I saw a stat this year. The top 3 channels on YouTube for growth this year, each of them gained independently more than 60 million subscribers each. So their videos were so successful and were engaged with so much that of the people who watched them, 60 million people subscribed in a year. So
what are those videos? Do you know? offhand?
Oh, there's a lot of shorts. So the number one channel is Mr. Beast. He gained like 110 million subscribers this year.
Yeah.
There's another channel that does a lot of shorts. Again, they've got billions of new views this year from the stuff that they made. And actually the third one was Cristiano Ronaldo joined YouTube this year.
Yeah. That makes sense.
68 million subscribers. Yeah.
That's so interesting because normally like people that are famous like outside of the realm of the internet don't necessarily have much success on the internet itself. Because I think like on the online space is filled with people like you, like disruptors, people that are like no one knew of before they picked up a camera and they blew up on whether it's Instagram or Twitter or YouTube. And so to hear like Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, he's one of the biggest athletes in the world, but all athletes don't have successful YouTube channels. So there must be something about him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's literally one of the top 5 most famous humans alive, but it is always fascinating to me to see people who are famous outside of the internet attempting to sort of own their own personal image by running their own YouTube channel. And that's what it's for, I think. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people view it the other way around. If you're building up something on YouTube, a lot of people's goal is to use that to jump off and graduate to something bigger. I want my own show. I want my own whatever it is. But you have people like Will Smith who have been a movie star for decades, starting a YouTube channel and like showing their own personality, for example. Mm-hmm. It's for people really actually willing to put in the time to share their actual personality with people.
I actually wonder if that's why some people aren't successful on YouTube. Like some, if we call them legacy famous.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you look at celebrities from a bygone era, you know, like the real era of movies and TV and before social media, before any of this, their image was so curated. Mm-hmm. Their image was so insulated that we didn't know them. We thought we knew them, but we didn't know them. Like I love visiting game companies, like video game companies, right? And then I'll ask them, I'm like, oh, who are you working with? And they're like, oh, we got this new campaign, and they'll say some celebrity. And I go, oh, wow, they game? And they're like, no, they don't game at all. But everyone thinks that they game, and everyone feels like they're a gamer. And I'm like, that's interesting. And I feel like the reason a lot of those people can't be successful on YouTube is because there's a realness to creators online that hasn't necessarily been what you needed to be successful in legacy media. Like, would you agree with that? Because I feel like you are the most you person I know, and I don't even know you, by the way.
There is a type of I guess it's access to the person that this sort of social media grants you that would maybe ruin the illusion for a lot of people who are curating their image. You think of someone like I'm just using examples. I don't know these people, but like Beyonce, Taylor Swift, like I don't know anything about their personality, but I think a lot of people have this really, really pristine image of them because of what's been curated and shared that might be ruined if they started to share way more parts of their real personality.
Yeah.
The only reason they appeal to 500 million people is because they have this really nice, bright, shiny thing that they've created. And I think for YouTubers, for Twitch streamers, for social media personalities, you may inherently have a lower ceiling because it's just you, but it is a way stronger depth of connection, I think. Like you can't, this is what people say about going on like the Joe Rogan podcast. Like for 4 hours, you can't fake a 4-hour conversation. Like it's you after a while.
At hour 3. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So there is a depth of connection there that really makes it different.
I want to go back to something you said earlier about like if you did the video you did 10 plus years ago today, you probably wouldn't break through, right? So now we have like this higher bar to just get through the noise. Do you think that's like really impacted the type of content creators that we actually now get to become famous?
Oh, 1,000%. So here's the way I've described it. It was when I started in 2009, I was one of a few tech channels, and that was enough to stand out, which was I log in and I'm interested in tech videos. So I'll find like a dozen channels that do it. Fast forward a couple years and a bunch more people are starting to do it. So now you have some software tutorial channels. You have some hardware channels, some people who just do unboxings. You might have seen those.
I love
so now
unboxings.
There's a couple.
Oh, you like unboxings?
Handbags, though.
Oh,
like,
they're fun.
Hermes handbags.
People like unboxings.
Not
So now there's a couple
bags.
different types of tech channels, which is cool. Fast forward again, it's 2024, and I promise you there's a channel for every single niche. There's the Apple channel. There's the anti-Apple channel. There's the anti-Apple nerd channel. There's the anti-Apple unboxings channel. There's the unboxing hardware for accessories for cameras channel. Like every single niche is taken and saturated. And so what we kind of figure out now is the only way to differentiate your content is to just be you. Like every niche is fully filled up and taken. And if you stand out at all, it's because it's you that people like. Look, I make a video on the new iPhone when it comes out in September, and there's about 5,000 other people who are going to unbox the same phone in the same exact way that I unbox it. So why would anybody watch mine? Hopefully, I can give you a little bit of entertainment value, a little bit of my personality, and that's enough for you to stick around and watch it. Otherwise, you're going to get the same information everywhere.
You know, when you talk about the niche of every category, there's this idea that I've been playing with, and I could be wrong. One of the great gifts we've received from the internet and social media and everything is the nichification of everything. If you are interested in something, you can probably find a space where it exists now. Mm-hmm. So where before we all had to watch the sitcom that was on TV, now you don't.
Yeah.
You don't like that kind of comedy? You can find your own kind of comedy. You want to watch a video about people sharpening knives? You can.
Yeah.
You can literally watch...
Big genre on YouTube, by the way, knives.
Yeah, I didn't know this. One of my best friends just loves knife sharpening videos. I have reported him, by the way, to like people who just watch people. Because I'm just like, it's weird. But I love him, but I've also put him on a list. I think there's something that we don't realize we've lost because of that. And in a weird way, I feel like you are starting to be part of the solution, even in this niche world. And that is, as everything has become niche, we share fewer places where we have a collective reality.
Yeah.
So now, back in the day, you'd walk into the office or you'd walk into school and you'd go, oh, did you see what happened last night? And we all saw what happened last night. Yeah. And now you're like, no, what happened? Oh, you didn't watch that video? No, I didn't see that video. Have you watched the series? I haven't watched that series. Have you streamed this? I haven't gotten to it yet. And now we're starting to lose all the things that brought us together. And then the only things that bring us together now are politics and sports.
Yeah.
So now the only thing you can talk about is, hey, did you see what happened in Ukraine? Oh yeah, this is going to be a fun conversation. I feel like you're part of the thing that's done that, but then now you are becoming the other part, which I think is very important, and that is everyone watches your videos. And I mean, I use everyone loosely, but let me put it this way. Apple watches it. That's the best way to put it. Do you know what I mean? I knew that we had reached the tipping point when Tim Cook at an Apple launch talked about Marquez and his YouTube page and MKBHD. Like, I've never seen Apple look for favor from anyone. They've never gone like, the Wall Street Journal loves this phone. But they went, MKBHD called it a... And I was like, damn. So, like, how do you feel about that? Like, yes, niche everything, but then also at the same time, you're becoming, I don't want to say mainstream, but a different type of mainstream. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Two main things come to mind. One, the first thing you were talking about, the audience of one. I'm sure you've heard this filter before, but like if you fast forward enough in this nichification, like every single person's "Did you see that last night?" is different. It's a whole bunch of things with one view. Like nobody has seen the same stuff, and that's an interesting dystopian future. But that's a whole nother thing. But the other thing you said is that politics and sports bring people together. I feel like I would expand that to just current events, like things that actually happen in real life. So yes, there is fiction, and you might watch that series, you might watch that Netflix thing, you might, invest in a storyline here or there. But in the real world, things are actually happening. And so that is the thing that sort of brings together humans. That's the defining human experience. The current events of what's actually happening. It's sports sometimes, it's news sometimes it's a tech event and everybody wants to know about the thing that just got unveiled. Lucky for me, I'm one of the people who is involved with showing you what just happened. So I happen to be one of those faces that a lot of people see instead of just one.
Do you think that's part of the reason that you haven't had to resort to crazier and crazier methods of getting views? Because this is something that I've noticed, not just for big YouTubers, but I've also noticed for, like, let's say kids jumping on YouTube now. We've noticed a shift from passively consuming to joining in and creating to now trying to outdo people. So now it's like, it's not enough that you threw a pie at your dad by mistake. Now your whole life has to be like pies everywhere in the house, and now we're the pie family, and you know what I mean? And then it culminates, you know, I remember when I was on The Daily Show, I spoke to, I always forget which brother, Paul or Jake or... I always forget it was Logan or Jake.
One of them, it's the one that punches and
they
the one
both
that doesn't.
punch.
Do they both punch?
That's why it got confusing for me.
All right.
But anyway, he was talking about the video, and he was really, I loved how he broke it down, but he was saying like, this thing became a monster that was pushing me and I couldn't stop it. And he said, I had to do a crazier and crazier and crazier thing until I even didn't realize why I was doing it. But it's all about the views. Do you think you've been immunized from that? Like why haven't you had more fireworks in your videos? Why aren't you driving tanks over phones? What, you know, is that because you don't have to, or is it because you don't want to?
No, I have an exact answer for that. The star of my videos is not me. The star of my videos is the tech. I'm pointing the camera at the tech, at the gadgets, at the thing that just came out, at the Sora announcement, whatever it is. And I'm a face that happens to walk you through it and guide you through it. But the pressure is on the tech industry to get more and more interesting and advance. And I point the camera at it, and that's the subject of the video. For a lot of creators, the subject of the video is them, or their life, or their family, or their stunt. And once you find success with pointing the camera at that thing, the pressure is now on you to one-up the last thing you just did. And so if you're Jake, if you're Logan, if you're Mr. Beast, if you're pointing the camera at yourself, or I see this a lot with family vlog channels where it's like the kids are in it, and now you have to do a crazy thing.
They keep having babies. Every time the views go down, they have another baby.
Oh, that's a real thing.
Wait, people do that?
Yeah. My favorite genre of family channels is like people that have over 7 kids. I'm obsessed with them.
Wait, so people have more babies to get more views?
Babies are great for views, gender reveals. You know, it's very cynical, it's kind of dark, but like family vlog channels are driven by like how many kids you can have.
So that's the internal thing that I have is the star of the show is the tech, not me. But if you find yourself making videos where the star of the show is you or your life or your daily vlog or your family, best believe that has a sort of a cap. That has a sort of a ticking time bomb.
Mm-hmm.
I hear what you're saying there, and I agree with it. But the one part that sticks out to me is you. So I hear what you're saying, but like I think of like the video that you did about golf or the PGA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean I like tech, but I'm not a big golf person. I watched that video because of you. And I think, I know what you mean. I know what you mean about aiming the camera. And you could argue again, oh yes, but Trevor, the tech at the golf was the star and I was just there. But then I argue there's some videos of yours now that don't even have the tech, right? So when you were talking about Ultimate Frisbee, which we got to get into, by the way, like this man is like an elite athlete, bucking every trend of tech here, by the way, right?
Sure.
When you spoke about that, that's just you. That video didn't get 3 views. It's not like people were like, shut up. We don't talk about your life and Frisbees. And people were like, oh man, this is amazing. Ultimate Frisbee, you're at the World Championships and you're competing at the highest level. And then you won. You came back with a medal and you showed us the medal. And so have you noticed that now, even without the tech in the video, people are still there for you and the conversation?
Yeah, so you're right. It's a little bit of a balancing act. I remember maybe 5-6 years, a little longer ago, there was a little bit of a trend. There was a whole bunch of YouTube channels doing tech videos that never showed their face. And I thought it was fascinating. And I was like, what if I was a faceless tech YouTube channel? And for a couple months, I was. I stopped showing my face. I was just the voice.
Oh, wow.
And it was this nice anonymous feeling. And what I sort of learned from that is people do connect with the character. People start to trust the character that is giving them information, that is telling them how they want to, what you might buy. And my videos, when they were at their best, were sort of just like a conversation. They were like, it would be like me and you, like, what phone do you have now? Which one are you trying to get? Because I think my HTC one is about to die, and I think this new one's not that great. So I should be looking at Samsung. And so while the tech is still what we are talking about in our conversation, you're right. There is an element of, are you good at presenting the tech? Are you good at distilling information and making it digestible to a certain audience? Do you know who your audience is? Can you speak to them? That's a fraction of it for sure. So maybe it's 70% subject, 30% host. Sure. I'll accept the pat on the back that I do have a little bit of a,
you deserve
a little charm going for me. Sure.
We're going to continue this conversation right after this short break.
You know, I'm really curious because there's always like this kind of trope of the people that run these tech companies. They have minimal tech in their personal lives and they're very keen that their children have no exposure to tech, right? So there's a story about Steve Jobs and, you know, all these people, they don't let their kids have iPads. And
Most of the people who like work high up at Facebook, when they throw birthday parties and those types of things for their kids, they have a sign that says no social media, no phones, no posting, no collecting,
Yeah, and it's always been like this interesting paradox because they sell this stuff to other people, and a lot of like worn-out parents, you know, the iPad kid is kind of a trope of being in the restaurant and just like swiping on the iPad, right?
Coco Melon for the win.
Yeah, I'm curious about your thoughts on it, about how much should children have access to, whether it's iPhones, the Gab, which is really popular, that I know a lot of kids have, these watches. What are your feelings on it?
That is such an interesting question. So I don't have kids. So I'm going to have to come up to this decision at some point where it's like, how young are we going to let them use the internet or a phone or a screen at all?
Yeah.
And we've all seen WALL-E. We've all seen that like, the dystopian future where humans are just blobs sitting around in chairs watching screens all the time. And that feels like if you let it go too far, where we'll end up. But yeah, I think there's obviously a healthy balance you have to try to strike to not just be constantly on your screen. And everyone's going to draw that line in a different place. I personally try to put my phone away by a certain hour. I try to actually start my day, hopefully by getting all the way to work without looking at my phone, which is hard. It's really hard. So yeah, the line's going to be a different place for everyone, but I suspect that those people draw the line as conservatively as they possibly can because they've seen the other side.
Speaking of like just ramifications in general, I want to go back a little bit to the personality of everything. I feel like this year was an interesting year for MKBHD, like for you as a person, right? Because in all the time I've been watching you and following you, you have been, and I mean this in the most like respectful and loving way, you've been like non-offensive, non-anything. And then this year was the first time where it felt like people started having different types of opinions about MKBHD. One was when you launched the app, the Wallpapers app, right? Mm-hmm. And people were really angry and they were coming at you. And my question is not so much about the incident, because I think everyone in life is going to have some sort of, if you're in public and maybe even in private, there's going to be something you do that people don't like, right? And there's degrees of this. Some people it's a Wallpapers app, some people it's a war crime, right? We have degrees. But like, you did this, and then you had another video where you were driving, I think it was a Ferrari, very fast, which are
what Ferraris are for.
Can I tell you something? Can I just say this just as an aside? Just as an aside, This is my thing. I feel like it's all a trap. I'll tell you why. Cars are governed, right? Cars are limited at a certain speed. They literally do this to cars, and it'll be a law sometimes, but they'll say this car cannot go over this speed. The car can go over that speed, but they'll govern the car. I'm always like, why do they give us the car? Why don't they just put the governing at the speed limit? That's just my conspiracy theory, and I'm not bringing anyone else into it. But going back to everything, so you drive the car, you have the Wallpapers app. What really fascinated me was how you handled it. No PR team, no crisis response, no, I'm going to paraphrase your tweet, but basically you came out and you were like, hey guys, I messed up. I didn't explain what I was trying to do here. I was trying to create this app for creators where they can actually earn money so people are not just downloading stuff online and they don't get the money. And this is what I was trying to do. You're right. I messed up with the ads and this thing, and I'm going to figure this out. We're going to tweak it. We'll put it down. We'll change it. Yeah, my bad. And you're like, and that was that. And then with the car video as well, you're like, hey, that was a stupid decision. I don't know why I did that. Shouldn't have done it. Sorry about that. Don't do it yourself. But what struck me was how, I don't know if unafraid is the right word. Maybe it's like authentically unafraid you were. Help me understand how you navigated those moments, because I know personally, and I don't speak for everybody, but a lot of people were like, they were really impressed that you just said, hey, this is what happened. And I want to know how you came to that, because you're big enough that you could have a PR company, and you're big enough that you could have a publicist who's like handling that for you.
There's, I think, a bit of a misconception about YouTubers now versus a long time ago. I think a long time ago, YouTuber was one person uploading to their channel, and it was just them, and that was it. Maybe one or two people. And now everyone more or less understands that it's a job now, and people have teams, and they have like PR, and they have editors, and there's these whole operations. And I think a lot of people forget that there's still people under there. And so I think when I'm sort of talking to my audience, I just want to talk to them as me, like I always have. When it was just me versus when it was my team now, I've always wanted to talk to them as just me. And then the other thing is, I mentioned this earlier, but the weight of the publish button being heavier than ever is actually taking that like really seriously. So a lot of times I'll sort of casually drop a clip in my video or drop something in a video where I think, yeah, it'll be cool if some people see this or notice this. And then the next day the video goes up and there's articles about it. There's like in the news posts about it. And I realize, oh, right, this is way more of a big deal than I originally intended, because the weight of that button is so heavy, right? So Panel is the wallpaper app. To me, that was just like, I figured I would casually drop it in my iPhone review, and then people would check it out, and it was like, no, I really should have explained that way more. And I realized that in public, like failing in public is a thing that we do now, and sort of owning that. And the other one was, putting a clip from an action cam of test driving a Lamborghini. And it's like,
I thought it was a Ferrari.
Yeah, a lot of people, again, there's a ton of articles about it, and half of them are saying things like it was a school zone, even though it was a sign that said one thing that they're kind of just parroting. And there's no context that makes it okay, but I should always know that the weight of the publish button is heavy, and any one thing that I do can feel very casual, but it's also putting it in front of 20 million people. It can feel like an endorsement of something, even if it's just a casual mention. But at the end of the day, I'm a person. I'm gonna continue to screw up in the future, and hopefully continue to talk to my audience as me, as a person that makes mistakes and learns from them, and hopefully gets better and evolves over time. So that's the goal.
So here's my thing. I hope you don't change too much, and I'll tell you why. I say this because it's something I've grappled with. I actually think that there's a fake outrage machine that oftentimes feeds on some real outrage, don't get me wrong. But I think there's like a fake outrage machine that we've encouraged too much, right? And the reason I say the fake outrage part of it is like, sometimes people can be outraged in a fun way. And I think we should all be allowed to do that as human beings. I do it with you, Christiana. I hope you do it, Marquez, with your friends. Sometimes it's fun to be like, I can't believe they did that. Bah, ha, ha, whatever, great. But I've noticed there's this weird like tail wagging the dog effect that's happening now in life, where the news, and I've watched this happen, right? We'd be at the Daily Show talking about these things. A few people online would say something. And when I say a few, I mean a few hundred, right? Would say something online. The news, like that is in like mainstream, like let's say CBS and NBC and CNN, they would report on it, and they would say, this person taking flack from social media. And then they'd start posting the things up. Many people commenting on how they're putting people in danger. Yeah. And they put those things up, and then they start putting up the post, and they're putting up the post, and then they talk about it like it is news. But I'm like, no, you're also making news. This is a very sinister thing that you're doing. Sure. And then the thing gets bigger online, and so the news reports...
Kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, and then there's a part of me that goes, and please don't get me wrong, I'm not like bandwagoning, I'm not even like trying to gas you up. I go like, yeah, okay, you screwed up. But I just feel like there's like a level of outrage that's not real.
It's like disproportionate to what actually happens.
Like people made it seem like you drove through a playground is the way I'm saying it. All right? And people made it seem like you raided their bank accounts and hacked them to steal money for a wallpapers app. And while I get criticism I think is very different to outrage. Someone can say, hey, I didn't think you did that the right way. Outrage is when someone goes, this hurt me deeply, Marquez. Yeah. This wallpapers app has, and I'm just like, yo, man, is this a real thing?
Yeah.
And even in my own life, I've tried my best to be cognizant of those moments where I'm participating in it. But then also, like, as a person putting stuff out, I think it's part of the reason people feel like there's like shackles that they need to break in society now, where they're like, what? No, actually, that person didn't mean that.
Yeah.
Marquez wasn't trying to kill anyone. Trevor wasn't trying to, like, incite violence. Cristiano wasn't trying to.
That's why I wanted to ask you.
You know what I mean?
Because you keep saying that the weight of the publish button feels heavy, which is like very grave, I think, for like existing online. Do you miss the days when it wasn't heavy? When you it was this creative space where you could explore and talk about the things you love without being afraid of like this outrage machine.
Yeah, you're a tech
for the
reviewer.
rollout of a product that you were excited about, or being silly. Do you miss when it was just like, I would publish because I like this shit and I want people to be into what I'm into or what I don't like,
It is a privilege to have that sort of pressure. Like back in the day, I was just publishing whatever. I would make a video that was literally one take. I would do a 90-second video, and as soon as I hit stop recording and the file appeared on my desktop, I would upload that video. It was that easy, right?
The good old days.
And that was fun, and that was the good old days, and there was a casualness about it, and it was fun. But a lot of what we're able to do, a lot of like the PGA Tour pulling back the curtain and going, yeah, we would love to show you all of the tech that goes into a broadcast, and we would love for you to show it with your audience. That comes with also the downside of the coin, which is everyone with like binoculars on everything you ever do. So yeah, a part of me does miss the old days of that a little bit, but I do feel like treating it with respect. Like, the only reason we get to do these cool things is because a lot of people care a lot about what we say. So I'm willing to accept that.
How do you find the balance though? Because here's the loop I sometimes think about.
Mm-hmm.
People love you because you're genuine.
Mm-hmm.
A genuine person comes with complexities. You and I talk about this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You'll say a thing and then I'll be like, no ways. And I fight with you, but we're friends.
Yeah.
And I'll say a thing that'll do the same thing to you. But we know that we are people in our full complexities. How do you find that balance between saying, this is me, this is what I feel, or this is how I was going to say it, with I want to get invited to the PGA? Because I think sometimes there's this weird little tipping point if we're not careful where we start to lose a little bit of what got us there in the first place.
The source.
Yeah, the source of it. And I'd love to know, how do you keep your source? Like, how do you make sure that you're still you and then manage the weight of the publish button?
Yeah, I think a lot of people have said things like, "Oh, if you're not if you don't make tech, then how do you evaluate tech? Like, if you're not coding, then how do you review an app?" What I've found is I feel like I'm basically a professional user. I use tech, and I'm able to show you my experience using it. And so my guiding like North Star for that is, I'm just going to show you the truth. I'm going to show you how it actually went. I'm going to tell you what actually happened. I'm going to share with you what I actually saw. And as long as I'm delivering that truth, I don't really worry about too much else. It might be a little harsh in the way I say it. It might be a little bit light in the way I say it. And you may take issue with one or the other. But, I'll do a shout out to a couple months ago, I reviewed the Humane AI pin and the Rabbit R1.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a lot of negative things to say about them because they just didn't work. They were bad.
You're still being nice.
People were much harsher than me, saying things like, oh, they're scams, or they should be illegal. These companies should go out of business or whatever. I just told, look, this is the worst product I've ever reviewed. I've reviewed a lot of stuff, and these are really, truly at the bottom. They're really bad. And I showed all that stuff. And when I started to get backlash for, oh, you were too harsh on them, or you said, you were too mean in these ways that you said it, I can accept that. But what I'll always fall back on was I wrong? Did I say anything incorrect? I showed you all the stuff, right? So I don't really worry too much about, trying to make everyone happy or trying to nuance my way into wording things in a way that I get invited to the thing. It's like, you know what? If you value the truth, I'm here for that. And all the other stuff is sort of sheds to the side.
One of the reviews that touched me personally was, and again, this is one of those where you got both the credit and the criticism unfairly, is when you were reviewing the Fisker, right? So I remember I drove a Karma way back in the day. I've always loved electric cars and the idea of them. And I drove one back in the day. Was the greatest idea, some of the worst execution. But I love the idea. And I think if you love tech, you actually love not necessarily the thing working,
the effort,
but the idea behind it. I think you're the same. I love it when, like the Apple Vision Pro, I hated that people slammed it as opposed to going like, wow, Apple's trying something new.
Yeah.
And you got like, that was an interesting level as well, where they were like, Marquez, not only are you slating these products, you have now ended a company and you've put people out of their jobs. Like in those moments, do you laugh? Do you sigh? How do you even process that? Because it's one thing if, it's like a wallpapers app. It's another thing when people think that you and your comments are shutting down a company that makes cars.
Yeah. So all I can say to those is, as long as I'm still telling the truth, which is the anchor of all of this, all I did was accelerate what was already happening. If it was me saying something about the car that took the company from S tier to shutting down, then I was probably lying, no? Like if this company was doing amazing things with an amazing product and everybody loved it, I would probably find the reasons why people loved it, and pretty good chance I would like it too. And if I hated it, there would be some reason why. So me coming along, telling the truth about a product, and then people going, bad product. Well, if it was a bad product, it was going to happen sooner or later anyway.
Yeah.
By the way, fun fact, I drove the Karma as well years ago. I never even made a video about it because I didn't have enough things to say about it. so that one kind of slipped by. And so it was this Fisker that happened to get a video. But yeah, there was, what's also funny is you probably saw a lot of the negative comments there, but even in videos like that, I still get it from both sides, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I get a lot of you were too harsh, and I also get a lot of this car I've never seen a car this bad. You should have been more mean about this car. And I think if you see both sides, if you're probably somewhere in the middle with the truth, you're doing something good.
My experience with the Fisker was I drove it in LA. So it was actually Jay Leno said to me, this is long before The Daily Show, by the way. This is like, nobody knows me.
Yeah.
I'm just a random comedian traveling around America. And I meet Jay Leno at the Comedy and Magic Club in Hermosa Beach. Jay and I are talking, we're talking about cars. And he's like, oh, the Fisker, you got to... And I was like, what, this car? And he's like, drive it. He's like, don't buy it, kid. Don't buy it. He's like, whatever you do, don't buy it. But you got to drive it. It's, And so I rented one. And my experience was I was driving and I was on the highway that goes to Pasadena, and in traffic, the car's electronic system all like died on me, right? The windows went down. So the car was still driving, but I could do nothing and I could see nothing. But the radio went to full volume and I'll never forget, it was playing Power 106 and I'm in the traffic. Everything, and it was Tupac, Hit 'Em Up.
And you couldn't turn it down?
No, couldn't do anything.
Oh my God.
Couldn't do anything.
This is why I don't like electric cars.
And I'm in the traffic, and I'll never forget people looking at me. And you think, oh yeah, loud music is cool if you want loud music. But when everyone in traffic is driving past you, and you're sitting there like, it was the meekest paradox between what Tupac was saying and how I was expressing my, like, it was just like one of those. So when you made that video, I was like, thank you, Marquez. You have avenged young Trevor for everything he experienced.
Man.
I actually wonder, like, do you think the reviews you got on Wallpapers has in any way affected how you're going to give reviews? Like, do you think as a creator of something, you're now going to review things differently? Are we going to lose like the source of you being harsh because now you're sort of in the game, even if it's just like a tippy toe in the game?
No, it's funny. I actually feel like I understand things a little bit better now. Sometimes I'll go to a briefing or some sort of meeting where they're showing me a new device, and they're doing a presentation, and behind the person giving a presentation, there's like 8 or 9 engineers like, okay,
they're always so enthusiastic.
They've been working on this thing, and they're like, try the thing that I worked on. And I've always appreciated that. Like it takes a lot to put this stuff together and to sort of, again, we say we hate these products when they're bad, but like to try to make something that's any good does take a lot of effort. So I've always appreciated that. And I think, I maybe have a little bit more sympathy now for, any words of like, they didn't seem to try on this at all. It's like, well, I know somebody tried on this, but they might not have gotten it done, or they might have run out of time, or they might have to improve this with a software update. There's a little soft spot now for a little bit of the builder side. Sure.
Don't go anywhere, because we got more What Now after this. The thing I want to talk to you before we go is what I've been calling with my friends the shitification of everything. Mm-hmm. I mean it in every field. I mean it in politics. Mm-hmm. I think politics has become shitified in a way where it's so broken that people don't like it, but it's supposed to be for the people, right? You know, you feel like this with like products. Tech is one of those areas where I don't want to sound like a grumpy old man, but I feel like we're living in an age of shitification, you know? So you talk about the rabbit, you talk about the humane. I pre-ordered and bought both of those. I love gadgets and I love tech. When I look at the amount of tech that comes out now that isn't ready, I'm like, how are you allowed to sell something to somebody and then tell them after they've purchased it that they have to wait for the thing to work? I'm just like, what? Because you can't do that the other way, right? I can't go to the store and buy the phone and be like, hey, I know the money I gave you right now is monopoly money, but in a few months, it's going to update into real dollars, and then you can use this.
Oh, what I hate is the printers that you have to subscribe to for them to print.
Yeah, that's the shitification of, like, everything has become a service now.
It just feels scammy and weird. And
it's the shitification of everything, right? And even like a company like Apple that's been above it for a long time, like, I want Apple's phone to work, right? I want the iPhone to work. But like, they were like, Apple Intelligence. And then the phone comes out, there's no intelligence. Yeah. And then they're like, and now the next update, and there's still like not the intelligence. I'm like, wait. So you held a launch telling us what it was going to be. It wasn't.
Yeah.
You then released a phone where all the billboards were advertising the features of that phone. It wasn't, right? You told us what the phone can do. It cannot. At what point do we go, this is a scam? I wonder, like, because you live in so much more tech than most of us do, I wonder if you've experienced it the same, if you think there's something there, and then B, what you think is driving it, maybe even just through the lens of tech and everything you've seen.
Totally. Okay, so I think with most reasonable things, there's two sides of every coin, right? And we are both mostly experiencing it on the consumer side. So we are trying to spend our money on something that is hopefully good. And there are lots of things that you can buy that are fine and you don't really think twice about it. It's like, I just bought these headphones. They're $90. They showed up on Amazon. They were fine. I plugged it in, whatever. Great. I'm not going to remember that. And then every once in a while, there's a couple that really suck and you have a really strong reaction to that. As a consumer, we feel validated in that. I can't believe you're advertising this thing is going to be good and it doesn't even exist yet. This seems horrible. Let me just flip that coin real quick. If you work for any of these tech companies, there is an immense pressure to make something that is leading and that is incredible, that stands out. And that is very, 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 very hard. I mean, once every decade, maybe we get something that kind of feels that good. Like the original iPhone maybe was one of the last ones that we remember in our lifetime. And a lot of these companies and these people that lead these teams and that work on these projects and that engineer and that do these things, they all feel this pressure, and whatever opportunity they feel like they can latch onto to maybe have a shot at making that next big thing, they're going to try to take it. And if they appear to be lagging, they have failed again. And so AI comes along, right? Okay, so I'm a startup. I want to make something. Maybe I can make kind of like the next iPhone, but it's AI in a box, and maybe it's not a phone, but it's a pin. And they try to put this thing together. Oh, but I see that company over there is working on something too, so I got to rush and put mine out, and it's out. And it's out way too early, and it's not done yet. And you see the promises they're making earnestly. They're like, I promise in a year, this will be the greatest product you've ever bought. Just give us more time to work on it. And again, on the consumer side, I'm like, bro, we don't care. I gave you real money today. Why is this thing so bad? I'm returning it. It's too expensive. It's a subscription. Right. I don't want this garbage. They're not trying to scam you. They're actually trying to make something good. There's just so much pressure to be early and to be amazing. And tech is really, really hard to make early and amazing. It's probably either early or amazing, not both. And I understand that most of it will not be both early and amazing. Right. So stop promising it will be. Like, I know that you have to get your share price up and whatever. You have to appease.
I don't think they're trying to scam us, to be honest. And I love engineers. Right? I've spent 7-8 years working with engineers at Microsoft. This is like what I do as one of my favorite passions, right? But I think it's not that they're trying to scam us. I think that they're trying to scam Wall Street. It's like they're trying to scam analysts. Like they're trying to scam, like Apple. I think one of the things that's always made them so good is the fact that they've tried to make the thing right, not first. And that served them well. And I feel
I mean, they don't invent things. That's never been their job.
Yeah,
the phone already existed,
right.
they made the best version of a phone. You know, a watch existed, they made a best version of a digital watch.
Like the Apple Vision Pro. This was the first time it felt like they were chasing because they didn't want the negative side of not being seen to chase. And they did a thing that wasn't ready and was... But I was like, oh man, you too? It's like, you know, I feel like if the shitification catches Apple, we're all in trouble in every other field. You know what I mean?
If they're the company that is the iPhone company, y'all are the ones in 2007 that reinvented the phone that everyone carries now. I think when they looked around in 2007, you know, there were phones, but I don't think they looked around and thought, wow, there's a lot of people working on this really, really amazing capacitive touchscreen multi-touch media player. This was a genuinely new like series of things to combine to make the iPhone what it was, which is why it hit so hard.
Yeah.
I think this moment was different, which is there is an immense pressure. If you are a tech company, I better see some AI in your products, or I don't think you're leading at all. And I think they looked around and they saw everyone else. They saw Google, they saw Meta, they saw everyone making AI stuff. They saw startups making AI stuff. And they felt like if they don't do anything AI, even if you're like a year behind or 2 years behind, you're going to look behind. And that's a reputation thing. It's a pride thing. It's a shareholder thing. And they felt pressured to do something now. So they did. They announced that they'd make Apple Intelligence and that it would show up soon in software updates. And yeah, it slowly started to trickle out, but that did feel like it was very differently inspired than some of their original successes. They were very much pressured.
Christiana, do you have any Luddite questions for Marques? Because I know...
My questions are so basic, bitch.
No, can I tell you why I think they're amazing? And I mean this honestly, because our friend David is also mega Luddite. He said something to me that has resonated with me. He said, the stupidest people in tech are the most important ones because that's who everyone is. Because you represent the people in this.
Well, my favorite video of his, you wore like 4 watches and you did the step count, right? And I currently use a step count for my phone. I use my iPhone, and I know that's not that accurate. So I love that video of yours. I want to know like your most practical tech product that you think like boring Luddite mums like me can go and buy and be like, this is actually making my life better.
Yeah, wow. I mean, there's so few things that are truly like value adds.
No, because I like that
life.
step thing because it's just like, I do like to know how many steps I'm getting in. Like it's a thing that people do like to know, like 10,000 steps. I know it's a myth, but I'm like, what is the product that you'd be like, buy this, it is going to make your life that bit better. It's what technology is supposed to do.
So I could go on the theme of that because like everyone cares about different things. And if you care about the step counter, to me, there's a theme of like, I care about the metrics in my life. Like I have the Apple Watch and it tells me all sorts of, here's what your heart rate, resting heart rate has been for the last month.
How I'm sleeping and, stuff
How
like
I'm
that.
sleeping. Yeah, so that's fun. You can get a smart scale. And for me, that's been telling me all sorts of things, trends over time.
Oh.
So that's an interesting one too.
I didn't even know
metrics.
smart scales existed.
So that's one. So Withings is a company that makes smart scales. You step on it, connects to an app, and the battery dies every couple months. So you're like annoyed that you need to recharge your scale. I started taking creatine a month ago, so I'm like tracking how it's affecting my weight. It's like actually kind of informative. So that's kind of cool.
Wait, why'd you start taking creatine?
Because I have a bunch of teammates who have been taking it for years, and they're like, "How have you not started trying it?" Like I'm willing to try
but you won.
Oh yeah, no. See, here's the thing about winning is everyone's at your throat now. You got to get better. Someone else is gonna find a way to get better than you.
Man,
so here's my way of
you're
getting
caught
better.
up in the game now, Marques. This is what I'm talking about.
I've been caught up in the game, though.
Doing the thing the way you did it, and now you're so worried about losing your spot at the top that you're gonna release AI Marques before it's ready. You're gonna. What is it about? It's Ultimate Frisbee, right?
Ultimate Frisbee, yeah. I'm working on a video. I got to explain it because it's always complicated.
Great. Then don't spoil it here. Then don't spoil it here. We'll all look out for that. The last thing I have to ask you, because I know my brother and his friends and a whole bunch of people would kill me if I didn't, is if you were talking to a young Marques today who wants to get into the game, because back in the day, people would want to get into like the TV game. Yeah. Before that, people wanted to get into the radio game or whatever. You are now that step. Like you are the thing that a child in school says, I want to be a Marques. Why would you say they should do it, and why would you say they shouldn't do it?
I would say being a social media person as a career is very similar to being a professional athlete, in that you really have to like doing this to be able to put in the number of hours and the amount of work required to actually make it your job. Take basketball. Basketball, you could play in the park. You could play for free. You could play against your friends. But if I want to be a professional basketball player, there's some level of, first of all, luck, but dedication, hard work that goes into hopefully getting you over to the next level to actually be able to make it your job. And it's very competitive even while it is your job. And so think about, before you start, if this is something that you actually like doing enough to be able to put those hours in. Because people see the final result, but are you willing to put in those hours?
How long does it take you to make a video, just so people get, because again, some people watch the video and they're like, well, I watched the video and it was 15 minutes. It took you 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe. So we're working on a smartphone awards video right now, which it's going to be a 30-minute video when it comes out, but it's going to take a week to edit this video. Wow. A lot of them take a week to write before they take a week to edit. A lot of them take... We just had a call today of a video we're planning that should hopefully come out around May, so 4 to 6 months. So it depends on the video, but they don't take no time. I'll put it that way.
Okay, so that's why you shouldn't, and why should you?
You should, because if you do enjoy playing basketball in the park, you're going to love being a pro baller. So if you enjoy making videos, if you enjoy tech, for example, even though it comes with more pressure, even though it comes with more scrutiny, you're going to enjoy the privilege of being able to share tech with the world. So do it.
Marquez, I cannot thank you enough. You have not only kept me entertained for many hours, you've saved me and millions of other people lots of money. Can I just put that out there?
That's great.
Because of you. No, really. I think before you, we only knew something was bad when we bought it. And I think you, my friend, are like a warrior in the war against shitification. Because really, because of you, there's sometimes where I'm like, I guess I don't need that device. So yeah, man, I appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time. And I hope we see you again soon, man.
For sure. Yeah. Always willing to get in the trenches for you.
Let's do it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
So, first and foremost, welcome. Welcome to you, the listener / viewer, if you're watching this. And welcome to our guest, the one and only Amir Questlove Thompson. Someone who's become synonymous with not just all things music, but I feel like all things good times, which is a great vibe. You know, when you walk through the streets, you go like, man, that person I associate with good times.
Good time guy.
I feel like you made my time a little bit better because I was in Washington, D.C. That's where we are right now. And then I found out you're going to be in Washington, D.C. And I'd been dying to get you on the podcast. And then, as you always do, you made things happen. And I appreciate you for that, genuinely. So welcome to it, because we're going to have such a great conversation today. I know it will be. You know, we're going to be chatting about your new book, all right? Hip Hop is History. Mm-hmm. We're going to be talking about your life, your journey with music, and, man, what happened at the Grammys behind the scenes.
Buckle up.
Oh, boy. I'm excited. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
You know, I picked up your book, and you jump into the book in maybe the most action-packed way ever.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. So I'm obviously biased because I was there when this was happening. Mm-hmm. But in the very...
You hosted.
Yeah,
oh,
man.
Oh, God, yes. That night. Do you even know what was happening?
So I'll set the stage. I'll set the stage for everybody listening. So it's the Grammys, right? It is the 2023 Grammys. Mm-hmm. 2023 Grammys.
Yeah.
And this is going to be one of the biggest years ever because hip-hop is turning 50, and there's going to be a 50th hip-hop celebration that brings together almost every artist or every performer or every group from hip-hop, from every generation, onto one stage in one mega blockbuster performance. You've never seen anything like this.
Right.
And the man who is tasked with putting this together is the one and only Amir Questlove Thompson. And, you know, you talk about how you said yes before you even thought about it. They said, Amir, you want to do this? You said yes. And just like any amazing action scene in a movie, we are completely in because we're thrust into a world where you realize very quickly that you don't just have to curate a performance that encapsulates 50 years of hip hop into like a 10, 15-minute performance, which is impossible.
Yeah, I thought it was that whole show. I was like getting ready for it.
But then we realized you have to manage all of the egos. Please just break it down
So
for me.
one of my biggest faults is often that I'm asked to do stuff like months or years ahead of time. You know what I mean? So when someone's asking you, 3 years before something, yeah, you're like, yeah, that'll be exciting.
Right.
I'll do it 3 years from now. So, Jesse Collins and Deanna Harmon asked me they have a way of pitching you that's like super exciting. Like, Amir, we think you should we think you should curate the Hip Hop 50 thing. And I'm on like the cartoon character, like when someone turns somebody into a turkey, like someone salivating at the mouth and all that stuff. And instantly I got to work. I figured, okay, I'm gonna tell the story of hip hop from the breakbeats of 1973 to the, and I'm going through all the eras. And I was like, all right, maybe they'll give me a half hour. So, all right, here's my presentation. And I said, it's 31 minutes. And the way they laughed at me, they're like, no. Just give us like 10 minutes. And then once I looked at the list and realized that it was 10 minutes, I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to cut this list in half. Like I realized instantly what they really signed me up for. What they really wanted to say was, hey, Amir, we would like you to be the bad cop in this situation. And then I realized, I'm gonna have to talk to people. Not only that, just go through my phone scroll. Like not even the luxury of them. You're the Grammys. You can call these people. No, like I gotta get up at 5 a.m. and have a Zoom with Dr. Dre. It was the most 7 intense weeks of my life of creatively whittling things down to a 10-minute, standard. Not to mention the amount of conversations I had to have with people that are like, wait, you want me to fly out there just to do a course?
Yeah.
Like I'm only doing 8 bars of a course? Hell no, I ain't doing that, So, and then some people were really savvy because they've been in this situation before. And they'll say like, well, who all gonna be there? And then now I gotta be careful, like, well, there's hello?
Because the thing is, a lot of people don't realize, some people don't want to be in the same vicinity or on the same stage as other, because it's like everyone's in hip hop, but not everyone in hip hop is together.
Right. So then who all going to be there was the first thing. And then now it's like, well, if I really need you to do this, then I got to knock out these 3 people so that you'll show up. So there was a bunch of that.
Oh, man.
Then at one point, there were several groups who weren't even speaking to each other.
Yeah.
Yo, I swear to God, when I see da-da-da-da, yeah, yo, he owed me $3,000 from 1998, son, and da-da-da-da. Look, man, I'll give you the $3,000. Just man. So there was a bunch of that happening.
So I'll jump into this part. So night of. So I've seen the rehearsals, but now the thing that people don't realize is the rehearsals for the Grammys are broken down, right? So you rehearse when the people can rehearse, and so it isn't always chronological. So like, if Bad Bunny's opening the show, he might rehearse like after a whole bunch of people, and you're really doing these pieces and segments, and you're doing them, and you got Ben Winston who's executive producing the whole thing, and you've got the director Hamish. Everyone's trying to put this together. But Hip Hop 50, everyone goes, we've never done anything like this. Everyone at the Grammys said, we have never done anything like this.
Oh, I know.
And so on the night, everyone is really nervous. All I keep hearing in my ear is...
So you had an earpiece?
Yeah, I had an earpiece.
So you might have known what I've gone through.
Oh, I knew exactly what you were going through. But I didn't know what you personally were going through. The book lays it out, and it's man.
So you remember the first act, was it Bad Bunny that started the show?
Yeah, so Bad Bunny started the show.
So you remember that whole elaborate thing he did in the audience?
Like he's coming through the audience, they drumming, they banging, Bad Bunny's walking through, and then all of a sudden I hear, we need Amir, we need, okay, guys, we got a bit of a one of the arts, we got it, and I'm like, what is happening? They're like, all right, there's too much noise on this channel, we have to switch you, because something's gone wrong. So now I'm like, what's going wrong? They're like, it's not about this, it's about Hip Hop 50. And as soon as they say that, I'm like, oh no, what has happened? What has happened?
Let me tell you. All right. So I thought my main fear the morning of had nothing to do with the production. I was fine with rehearsals and everything.
Yes.
Like creatively, we were good. There was a new problem. And the new problem was because First Lady Jill Biden was in the house. There's a more intense level of security detail than normal. Which, okay, I've been to the White House a few times, whatever. I understand you're going to have to go through several stages of going through metal detectors and all that. There's a few of my peers in the world of hip hop that are like, nah, son, never, like a never again thing. A never again thing. Like they see metal detectors and they're like, nope, I'm good. So just to kind of appease two of these particular figures, we had to go through hell and high water just to make sure that was cool.
Right.
Which once I realized the last person was finally in the house, I had 2 good hours of, whew. So I got changed,
Yeah, you were walking the red carpet.
Right. I went to the red carpet and, mess with Taylor a little bit, we were joking around.
Jokes to Taylor Swift, living the good life.
Right. Everything was fine. And then the second they introduced Bad Bunny, suddenly I just started getting like, code red, like get backstage right now. And what I was told was that one of our participants is on his way back to his house in Calabasas because maybe or maybe not a security person was a little overzealous in checking our friend's date.
Yeah.
He's instantly like, no. Like, it was just like, this person's not coming back. So what they don't realize is that because we're on a very specific clock in terms of camera coordination, all the visuals you see.
Every cue at the Grammys.
The lights, the dancers.
Every cue
Right.
is so specific. And that person didn't drop out from the front or the back. They dropped out from the middle.
Right. It's not like a thing where I could just instantly like, hey, we're cutting that song. Now, 9 key people who are not in contact with each other have to be told that we're going to lose like 4 minutes and 27 seconds to like 6 minutes and 6 seconds. We have to cut that part out. But the thing is, it's a live show. And the show's happening already. So you got to wait till commercials and then run to the light guy and say, look, during the Hip Hop 50, 4 minutes and 27 seconds, 6 minutes. Then you got to go to the camera person. Then you got to go to the graphics person. Then you got to go to the choreographer. And then you got to tell the dancers, hey, guys, I'm sorry, but da-da-da just dropped out, so we won't be using you. Like, these people flew out, told their family, I'm going to be on TV, hey.
Yeah, they've been rehearsing.
Right. So it took about 28 minutes to just tell all those people that this particular artist has dropped out.
Wow. And
I thought, okay, we're good. And then part 2 happens, which is...
Oh, man.
Some genius decided, and I'm being sarcastic, to present the Album of the Year award before the presentation. Yeah. And the thing is like, look, dog, this is Kendrick Lamar's time. Like, you've awarded this guy the Pulitzer Prize. He's achieved things.
He's the favorite.
We already know this. We already know this.
But does hip hop know it the same way? Because I feel like
egos are part of hip hop.
Well, that's what I mean. I feel like nobody in hip hop comes to an award show thinking that they're not going to win the award.
Kendrick rightfully won that Grammy, and one of the nominees was like, I'm going home.
And that nominee was in the performance. I remember this happening in my ear. I got a call from Ben. He was like, Trev, mate, he's like, we just lost another hip hop performer. We're going to try and figure it out. But for now, we might need to move things around. We just got to, and he's like, and then it was panic again.
Yo, so it's 4 minutes left. And we begged him as he's walking out, like, yo, can you? No, I'm going home. And so we have 4 minutes, one, to make all the edits. But then I need somebody to end this thing. And I'll tell you what I did. I found a closet. I said, I opened the closet and went in. They're like, Amir, that's not a room. Oh, no. And they're like, what are you doing in there? I need silence. And literally, I just sat there for 2 minutes dead silence. Like, all right, what am I going to do?
I thought you were having a mental breakdown because I heard during the cast they were like, things are going crazy, things are going wild, and then someone said Amir just went into like a broom closet and he won't come out, and I was like, well, I guess he finally cracked.
No, so this is what I learned
the
about
unstoppable force known as Questlove finally cracked.
People think that meditation is like cosmic prayer. Meditation is just, you got to sit in silence for a long time and breathe, and the answer will come to you. Now, let 2 minutes go by, and you can clearly hear them outside the door like,
yeah.
And I'm just like, I did that for 2 minutes. 2 minutes left, Amir. And I grabbed my phone. I was like, I can either text Jay-Z right now or Little Uzi Vert. And something told me, like Jay-Z's, he's not the king of no. Let me stop putting that out there. But
he is the king of no.
He's been known to be.
No, but he is the king of no. I think in many ways, Jay has understood the thing that you and I are still working on. He goes, thank you, but no.
Scarcity marketing.
No.
Which I would love to. I would love that. Matter of fact, during the whole Zoom thing of me having to pitch people,
yeah,
Dr. Dre also taught me something because, he gave me a no.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, I'm ask him in 2 weeks and nudge him like, come on, pal, can you do this for me? And Dr. Dre, in a way that I haven't seen since my father before, like when you cross that line,
yeah,
and your parent wants to give you that warning before all hell breaks loose. Dr. Dre said in a very serious way, which I now use on people.
Yeah.
He says, Quest, let me tell you something. I really hate to say no twice.
Damn.
And the silence that ended,
woo,
I was like,
woo.
1, okay, I will never ask you to do anything in life. 2, I got to use that, like literally. But Jay said no. And I was just like, all right, let me hit Uzi or someone close to him. So I texted his team, and as I pressed send,
your phone dies.
My phone went out.
And so this is crazy because on the outside, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how it's going to happen. It plays out, and I won't spoil all of it because I want people to read you got to read the book, but on the outside, let me tell you this. You nailed it though. You nailed it. You genuinely
I didn't know I nailed it.
And Jay-Z was part of it basically. Jay-Z rapped along to every single song.
Jay-Z wound up being the star of the show.
Yeah, he did.
Him as audience member.
Yeah.
Was better than him going up doing.
No, it was one of the greatest performances ever.
Right.
ever. We're going to continue this conversation right after this short break. There are a few people who write a book about a topic that they are so inextricably linked to. Mm-hmm. When you talk about the story of hip hop, in many ways, I feel like hip hop has had the same journey that you have had as a human being.
Yeah.
And the two of you have been intertwined, like twin souls.
Yeah.
Because hip hop today seems obvious.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a Rangers game in New York. Someone invited me. They're like, do you want to come watch a hockey game? I went. And the thing that struck me the most was in a stadium that was 99.99% white.
Mm-hmm.
Every time out, they played hip hop. And so I want to know from your perspective,
mm-hmm.
what was the first moment where you felt like hip hop was going to maybe be a thing? Because you talk about being this child who was, I love how you even phrase it. You say you were 8 years old and you were hearing hip hop for the first time. You were washing the dishes with your sister.
My sister and I were doing the dishes, and the intro of Rapper's Delight comes on. And then we hear Sheik's Good Times. So we're just like, oh, it's Good Times. And then we started hearing people talk, rapping. And we just stopped doing the dishes like, wait, what is this? And, it was like a clock radio in the kitchen. So we turn it up and we look at it. And the longer the song went on, I thought like, oh, I'll never hear this again in my life. So it was a decision to make. Should I run and get a tape recorder and record what I'm hearing, which is exactly what I did. Like I ran right to my room, got a tape recorder, put the tape recorder to the radio, the clock radio, recorded it, and just sat there and listened. You know, Rapper's Delight was 15 minutes.
Right.
So I came in at like maybe the 3-minute part, and I wrote that entire song down. I was supposed to be in bed like 8:30. You know, I was 8 years old. I probably stayed up. I was allowed to stay up until maybe 9:30, and I transcribed all the lyrics. And then I went to school the next day, me performing Rapper's Delight for like all my 4th grade class members. And that's, you know, of course, like adults were like, oh, never last. It's a fad. But when it really called to me was in 1988. So there was like a 50s themed McDonald's called Big Al's based on Happy Days. And I worked there. And this is the morning that It Takes a Nation of Millions by Public Enemy came out, which, if you know of their production style, it was they wanted to sound like music's worst nightmare. So they would just pack in like 19 samples in one song.
Right.
Just sounded like, they said that they wanted their music to sound like what crack feels like because it was the crack era.
Oh, damn, I didn't know that.
Which is why all my chapters are based on the 5-year.
Yes.
You know, the first phase, cocaine, second phase,
you
40 ounce.
You have one of the more interesting ways of breaking hip hop down. Like where most people would talk about hip hop just in a decade, or most, you know, they would say this was an era. You broke hip hop down by the drug that was pervasive at the time.
Yeah.
And you know, it's one of those things in stand-up, we always talk about it. We go, there's always that moment where a comedian will get on stage and they will say something so painfully obvious that you don't understand why you never saw it, but it is so genius because nobody could see it because it was right in front of them. I feel like you revealed that with the way you broke hip hop down. Like,
well, when Chuck D said like we wanted to be music's worst nightmare, and because it was the crack era, he wanted his music to sound what crack felt like.
Right.
And then I realized, oh, so when the Chronic came 5 years later, Dr. Dre slowed the music down, and that's the sound of weed.
Yep.
But then when the 97 Bad Boy era really started to kick in, that was the sexy, that's the ecstasy era. Mm-hmm. And then when the South first started coming in, that's the scissor era. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, with Molly, opioids, fentanyl, like, we're going through each phase. Every 5 years, the drug of choice that we self-soothe on changes. That's how the music changes.
Right.
Like, this is the numbing era. This is the era of no feelings. I don't want to feel. Numb.
Damn.
And some people are totally emo. So you either 12,000% emo or no feelings, which is why everyone sounds numb. Like, that's why mumble culture doesn't make sense to my generation. Like, I grew up in the crack era.
Right, because it doesn't match up with what you experienced or how you were living were living that life. I genuinely love how you find these threads, how you connect them, how you know, in the book you talk about your journey in hip hop, the Roots' journey in hip hop. And I love the connection that you have with Tariq, where it's like, you know, here we are seeing the foundations of Black Thought and Questlove, seeing them go from boys growing up, as you say, you know, from tweens to teens, from teens to young men, and then you're in hip hop.
See, our narrative was that we were working class musicians, which really isn't sexy. There's nothing sexy about, hey, we're a hardworking band, because the narrative. A lot of the narrative, especially of the crack era, which is 1987 to 1992, is the idea of winning. Yeah. Which is why the idea of Scarface, we don't love the movie Scarface. The idea of Scarface is what we love. And right. If anything, I think like Jay's life sort of mirrors that. Like, I'm gonna buck the system. Right. And then I'm gonna evolve and become the system. Right. That's pretty much how like America was built. Like off of
everyone,
money,
the Kennedys, the money. Rockefellers, you name it,
corrupt money, and then somehow they became the
You become the establishment.
The establishment, the respectable establishment. For us, though, had Tariq and I, like again, even the idea we were really the roots in name only because like we went to high school. When you're in high school and Boyz II Men are Boyz II Men in high school, and I don't mean like this before they had a record deal, but it was like the Beatles on Sullivan.
Yeah.
Like they would walk down the block and girls, oh my God, and singing the girls in the back. And I'm like, oh, they're cheap, man. Like singing the girls, and like we can't do that. And so we started a group, but it was in name only. And it was only when I was coming back from my audition, I auditioned to go to the New School or Juilliard. Mm-hmm. And coming back home, Tariq was with me for my audition. This real pretty girl in kind of a Grey Poupon commercial way says, "Excuse me, are you the drummer that plays in that Spike Lee bucket commercial?" Now, yes, I was the drummer in the Boyz II Men Motown Philly video, but because a very popular Spike Lee commercial for The Gap, where it was like a bucket drummer. You know, we see musicians busking all the time, but back in like 1991, it was weird to see a guy playing drumsticks in a bucket, and she was so beautiful. I said, "No, I'm not," and she was like, "Oh, okay," and she sauntered off and left the train, and Tariq looked at me like, "You damn motherfucker, you." And so cut to the next day, we're watching Soul Train and that Spike Lee commercial comes on.
Yeah.
And literally it was like the Eureka, what I call the Doc Brown flex capacitor inspiration moment. Like we just slow looked at each other like, yo, let's do that. And cut to 2 hours later, us going to South Street, busking. And, you know, the summer of 1992 is kind of where a year later, we'll have a record deal and we will be the Roots, as you know it at least.
Right.
And the thing is that in our narrative, like we just never had a story of like, we won. And that's what hip hop was at the time. Like, I won. I got more than you.
Right.
We were telling the truth. We weren't rich.
Yep.
We weren't,
Put your rollies in the sky, waving side to side.
We didn't think to lie to people.
Yeah.
Or I don't think it's lying to people. I think it's sort of manifesting what your future is. And then it comes.
But then what do you think the secret to your staying power has been as a group?
When people used to ask before, I would playfully joke that, you know, the reason why the Roots existed for 30 plus years is because 2 tour buses. And I used to say Slytherin and Gryffindor. But I now realize something, which is oftentimes artists have this obsession with perfection.
Yeah.
You hear Michael Jackson, like, it must be perfect. Mm-hmm. Prince is world famous for rehearsing his band like 15 hours a day. Perfection. That's not the key. The key is like when you're trying to manage your destiny or rehearse your destiny, it never works. Literally, all you have to do is left foot, right foot. Left foot, right foot. And yeah, some of those times are trepidation. There have been moments where like, I don't like the way the audience looks like, they don't know who we are. Like, you know, and I'll overthink it, but it's just show up. So I don't think, you know, people, well, you guys are super talented. You know, you you have the ability to collaborate with whoever. Nah, we're still, we show up, and that's literally, I believe that's the true answer. I try to make science of it all, like, well, you know, because we're responsible, or, you know, we're drug free, or we're, you know, we went to counseling.
Show up.
You literally show up.
But you know what I think it is? I think, I'd love to hear what you think it is as well, is like, I think as artists, if we're honest about it, there is a great fear that comes with doing what we're doing because you are directly attached to the product that you are creating. Mm-hmm. It is a direct expression of who you are. It's a direct moment where you're exposing yourself. It's like another opportunity to be rejected. It's another opportunity for it to not go right. It's another opportunity. You know, like, let's say the music itself can go on without you. But when we talk about, let's say, a live performance, every live performance is a new performance. Do you know what I mean? You step on stage, and if your timing is off, and if your drumming is off, and you know, and if Thought misses some lyrics, or if he messes something up, that crowd doesn't say, "Oh no, it's fine because the album is perfect." They go, "That was terrible."
But
you know,
you show me someone. I mean, no one actively plans on let me ruin this moment.
Yeah.
but I guarantee you at least 90% of the time, it's someone that's in their head. I learned that worrying is literally praying to be sabotaged. Whew. Man, I hope I don't drop a drumstick. When you worry, when you allow your brain to go to that place.
Yeah, to focus on the thing.
Shout out to Lauren Zander for inventing the term mana fucking. That's when you start mana fucking. So it's I guarantee you behind every moment of that level of sabotage or bad performance, that's because a person's mind's not clear. I don't like before you go on stage, because your level of entertainment is more intimate because you have to talk to people.
Yeah.
Like, do you at least, I have to sit in silence 15 minutes before I go on stage or DJ just so that I can ground myself and get in that zone.
I'm the complete opposite.
Oh, you got to be all hyped and listen to music.
No. I just, it's funny. Everyone has a different routine. So Chris Rock, he almost has like a meditative Zen. Everyone has to leave the room, and then he focuses and he goes in. But he's also,
does he still have that Prince?
I think so.
Does he have his Prince altar?
Yeah, but I think he's also one of the most precise comedians. So I get why he needs that, And then Kevin Hart, he's like a lot more loose. He'll just do the thing. He'll laugh with people. Dave Chappelle's always playing music. That's one thing. Like when you walk backstage, Dave Chappelle is playing music, and the music is setting the scene, setting the vibe. For me, it's people. I need my people backstage because
really,
because the thing I'm trying to do is, for me, I'm trying to bring you Trevor when I get on stage. I don't want to become somebody else. I'm not trying to become somebody else. I'm trying to introduce you to the funniest version of who I am. And that is like when people know me. When people meet me for the first time, a lot of people are disappointed. They're like, oh man, I thought you'd be a little more, I thought you speak more. I thought you'd be funnier. But I'm like, no, most of the time I'm processing information. I'm observing the world. I'm quiet.
I was about to say, you're the first comedian I met that, like, if any particular artist has kind of a duplicitous existence where there is Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, comedians to me are that. Like, every comedian I know, it's like life of the party on stage.
Yeah.
But the level of darkness that I witnessed out of it. And then I realized, like, oh, comedy is one of the best distracting, nothing to see here. Like, I don't want you to see the real me, so let me be funny as hell to throw off the smoke.
Yep.
But you actually, you might be the beginning of a new generation that might be genuinely you and adjusted, at least from outside looking in.
Yeah, no, I try to be. I try to be as much as I can because I realized this, and maybe you can relate as a performer. What I realized was, if I'm going to spend my life doing something, then I would like to spend my life doing something that'll help me be the best version of me versus spending my life doing something where I'm somebody else, and then I have to come to grips with the other person I am whenever I come off stage. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
So that's why what I'm trying to do is I walk out onto the stage and I'm trying my best for you as the audience to feel what I'm like with my friends. And if you meet me in the street and if I'm at a restaurant, that's me. That's just how I am, because then I don't have to turn it on and I don't have to turn it off and I don't have to think about which Trevor's coming today, which Trevor's showing up. No, I like that.
I used to worry about that because I think, at least for me, it was really, I'm in an even weirder space because I know I have people that admire me.
Yeah.
But it's not the Beatles' Hard Day's Night. Like, a pack of girls aren't chasing me down an alleyway. And it's weird. Like, sometimes I'll walk down the block and it's always like, some guy's like, dog, like, that album changed my life, man, back in college. And thank you very much. And it's always, and I'll be high, like, wow, thanks. And then what always happens is whoever he's with, usually his date or whatever, I can hear maybe like 5 seconds of the conversation as I walk away. And it's always the tune of like, you don't know Questlove? The Roots. You know the Roots. You know Jimmy Fallon. You know, yo, you remember Will Smith? You know. And that always just. But I used to always. I would say that I was the person that would sort of self-evidence reasons why I don't deserve stuff.
That's interesting.
So
that's it. You talk a little bit about that.
I was sort of.
Yeah. You talk a little bit about that in the book,
and that's going to ground me.
I actually would like to get into that. Like, you know, in the book you talk about almost experiencing hip hop through an anti-hip hop lens, and not against hip hop, but rather the machismo in hip hop, the
right.
vibe. You know, for instance, even when we talk about weight, there's a really fascinating part of the book where you're talking about how, you know, Biggie and Big Pun and Fat Joe and all of these artists, how they use their weight in a different way. Rick Ross, you name it. And you very candidly share your story and how, like, you are grappling with your weight in a different way, and you don't seem to have the same command over it, and it's almost not a tool in your arsenal.
I never thought this could be sexy. For me, I realized super late in my life that we are going to self-soothe on something when we're not aligned.
Yeah.
Like I don't see like a cocaine addict as like, oh, you just chose drugs. I now think like, okay, you're self-soothing because of another issue.
Right.
And there's different types of addictions that we don't think about. Like we don't think that, yes, there's the greatest hits one. There's drugs and alcohol. There's gambling. But then there's some other that we don't think about. And for a lot of it, the amount of times that I've like celebratorily like, let's go to dinner. Or, you know, in the studio, I'll just have, you know, my writer like 10 different types of cereals. Like I didn't realize the amount of times that I would just casually, I'm a foodie. I write books about food. So, you know, I called it, my excuse was being a foodie, but then someone challenged me once during the pandemic, like, well, I dare you to not do that. And we'll see if you're an addict. And literally, like, I was like Chris Rock in New Jack City, like, I need Captain Crunch. I need Captain. And I didn't realize that was my drug, you know. I didn't realize that this was my shield to keep people away from me.
Wow.
You don't realize that at the time. So, and it's an everyday struggle. Like just to, you know, I want to be an example without being the guy that you like, you see on Instagram, and I want to be I don't want to be the hall monitor.
Yeah. You're not the instructor type. You're
I want to lead by example. So I mean, the fact that Chuck, Flavor, Ice-T, LL in a few seconds are making it to 60 is like, that's a true reason for celebration. But I also know that those individuals have also reached a crossroads in their lives where they have to, you know, I didn't know that Chuck D, you know, revealed to me that, you know, he does meditations and do these things that I used to laugh at. I used to laugh at all yoga, meditating.
But then how did you find the balance? How did you know, one of the things I notice about us as people is we risk swinging wildly from one extreme to another. So I'll meet people who, like you say, they self-soothe, whether it's food or whether it's partying or whatever it is. And then I meet them, and then now it's like they self-soothe by being the complete opposite, and it's extreme, and nothing is a joke, brother. Let me pray with you for a moment. Let me meditate with you in this moment, and I do everything is the devil, and
you know when people get a new toy,
like
I had cousins come home from jail, like, and you know that when you do a bid in jail, like you're going to either find God or you know, half my family was Muslim, you know. Like prayer rug in the middle of the street, like, all right, here we go. All right, give you a salat. All right. Now, can we talk about, you know, TV again? I was that person, and then I realized, like, you got to be the example instead of preaching the example.
I wanted to ask you that about music. Are you able to listen to music without the like the rule, and I don't mean the rules of like what music is supposed to be or not be, but there are a few people I know of who can break music down. So for instance, you have these playlists that you'll send out to people, right? And one of the reasons I love your playlists is because I love discovering new music. So when you listen to music, I'd love to know, like, are you able to turn off your precision and your perfection, or are there moments where like it bites at you?
I'm a stickler for detail.
Okay.
And so the reputation of the Roots being a band or whatever is often the fact that we can mirror exactly what the song does.
Got it.
Kind of not in a karaoke way, but you know, the artist always says, "Wow, you guys sound just like the record."
Exactly.
Right. And so I'm always on the band about like, no, the thing goes like this on the record. You know, does the average layman person care? Probably not. Am I tightly wound? Probably so. But someone has to be the captain. So that's usually where I'll get the ridicule. Like, I know on the other Roots thread without a mirror, that's where I know where the conversation is going. But the reason why, or the main reason why I did these playlists, I think I started doing this way back. Blue Ivy was born when, like, 2013? 2013, I think.
Yeah, I'm terrible with years.
Yeah, 2013, 2012, around that era. And so my gift to the Carters was like, look, and this is back when it was just iPods. I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill up a whole bunch of music with iPods, and in our crib, you know, just have this music playing subliminally. Man, that's beautiful. And then, you know, because I think if you can get kids before they're, and I don't mean like, I'm not the kind of guy that wants you to listen to the music I listen to, but
it's just being exposed to. It's like languages.
I think it expands your mind. So I initially started making iPods for the Carters, but then Jay will be like, "Yeah, we kept them things to ourselves." Like, and then the other thing was kind of my occasional eye roll at Obama's summer playlists, like. Okay, all right. Who's really feeding you this music? All right, let me.
Nobody gives him credit. Come on.
Let me. And I'll hit him up. I'm like, yo, dog. Like, okay, who's your trainers doing this? Like your interns. So what wound up happening was initially, First Lady Michelle had me make her a bunch of playlists because she was doing like a book tour and wanted cool music to play when she would do her speeches, whatever. And then it just started expanding. So it's, to me, I'm the guy that's willing to, you know, do the needle and haystack for the perfect song. All those songs that I choose are songs that give me goosebumps. Like, no song is on there by accident. Not
to put you on the spot, but if you were to choose just five songs where you go,
see?
No. Just like, and it might be like, it might even be the top of mind that I'm looking for. I know I'm putting you on the spot.
I'm gonna tell you something.
From 5 genres where you go, you're on an island, you're trapped. This is it. 5 songs for the rest of the time. You can't even make music. 5 songs.
When off the clock, I don't listen to music more than I listen to like ambient noises.
Oh, that is fascinating.
So right now, like, if you would say, like, what is my favorite song? For me, fork tuning music is my all-time. It's not even music anymore. But the sounds of ding, like, that to me is like, because I need that. My life is so chaotic. But, I mean, if you just want me to name, like, tangible songs or tangible music, I would choose, okay. If you're a fan of Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys, and you know the story of how he struggled for 40 years to make the follow-up to the Pet Sounds album. He finally completed this album, I think in 2009, 2010 or whatever. Like, finally it's in its complete stage. It's called Smile. And there's a song called Wind Chimes that is just my relaxing place.
So that's the relaxing one. I like
That's a relaxing one. Number 2, Bill Withers has a version of Grandma's Hands on Live from Carnegie Hall.
Okay.
1972, 73. That has a long monologue at the beginning of it. And when I was a kid, my parents and grandparents used to always make me perform the monologue.
Oh,
Bill,
wow.
Bill's telling the story of what it was like growing up in West Virginia in his grandmom's house and going to church. And it was like the comedian thing, like white churches and black churches. Black churches do this.
Yeah.
White churches do this. And I used to do that routine when I was like 3 or 4. So let's say the live version of Grandma's Hands.
Okay, live version. What does that do feeling-wise for you?
It's probably the rosiest childhood memory I have.
Okay, okay. So it's like, it's warm. It's
Yeah,
like
it's that warm feeling.
All right, okay.
There's a song called There Comes a Time by the Tony Williams group. Tony Williams was the drummer for Miles Davis. He went solo and did a song called There Comes a Time. There Comes a Time was the first night of the Roots, as you know it, when we saw the commercial and went on South Street to busk.
Yeah.
It was such a victory night that at the end of the night, we took our $120 and we went to Wawa and to get a hoagie and some lemonade. And we just sat in the car, like, feeling accomplished, thinking like, so we going to do this next week? Or, yeah, we going to do this next week. We might make $200. And this avant-garde DJ had played Tony Williams' There Comes the Time. We just thought it was the oddest thing we ever heard. And it turns out, we don't know it at the time, but that DJ will wind up being like the Roots' brain trust and longtime manager until he passed away of leukemia, Richard Nichols. So we will meet that person in about 3 months, not knowing that he was the DJ for Jazz 90.
Damn,
on
that's
Temple.
Beautiful. So that's the weird one. So we got calm.
Yeah, that's the weird one.
Yeah, we got calm. We got homely. We got weird. What's like a hype? Is there like a hype song?
For my generation, when Rebel Without a Pause came out by Public Enemy, the song actually encapsulates the angst that teenage me feels inside that can't express it.
Right.
This loud siren noise that keeps going, like it's every parent's nightmare. But for me, it's like, yeah, this is how I feel inside. You know. So Rebel Without a Pause by Public Enemy.
Okay. That's like catharsis. I like that.
Yeah.
All right.
The last song I'll say is a rather normal song, but there's a moment where in 1983, Prince releases a remix version of Little Red Corvette. Now, are you familiar with the phrase, it's called code switching?
Yeah.
So code switching, for those that don't know, oftentimes if you come from one side of town, you might often have to chameleonize yourself to adjust to where you're going.
Switching to that office voice.
Right. Yeah. So if I'm back in my old neighborhood at home.
Good to see you again, buddy.
Right, exactly. At home, I know to lower my voice. Yo, what's up, man? How you doing? Yeah, I'll take a shrimp fried rice and what? Oh, word. That's what's up, yo. Thanks. But when I'm at office, hello there. How are you? Like, it's a level of code switching. Prince, what makes Prince such a genius is often when he releases singles, he knew what he would have to do in order to gain the audience that he wanted.
Oh, interesting.
Which is why songs like Raspberry Beret exist. Which is why I like nice songs like Take Me With You exist. There's a level of winkage that he's doing to a wider audience that he's trying to grab. But he's also telling his black audience, I know where I came from. You know what I mean? So he'll often remix a song and blackenize it in very subtle ways that you don't notice it.
Okay.
So what happens is 12-year-old me is thinking that he's hearing the album version of Little Red Corvette. But then suddenly in the 3-minute period, the bass line changes. And I'm like, wait, this feels different. This is not the AM, FM radio rock song that Little Red Corvette was. Suddenly it's black as shit. So what I'll later learn is that oftentimes for pop radio, you'll want to stick to major chords.
Okay.
Because it feels safe and it feels inviting. Minor chords, the black keys, are often dark, and that's sort of up our alley. You know, it's funkier. Mm-hmm. It has edge to it. There's mystery to it. There's bite to it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the moment I realized that you can turn any song into the major version, which is safer, or the minor version, which is edgier, that totally transformed me. So for me, hearing Little Red Corvette, the remix dance version, just that made Prince God in my mind.
That unlocked something in you.
In a way that no other artist could do that.
Don't go anywhere, because we got more What Now after this. You know, I'll tell you this, Amir, like, there are few things that I have been to or experienced where there is more lore that is spread about them than your legendary game nights. Yo, the amount of lore and fiction and myth about your game nights is out of this world. People ask me questions. It's almost like your game night has become Illuminati, because people will say to me, they'll be like, Trevor, I saw you made it into one of Questlove's game nights.
Right.
Pray do tell what happens in there. I heard that there are people, and you're like, well, it's a game night. It's just a game night.
Someone once joked to me, they were like, you know, I can't believe you hit jackpot doing one of the most wholesome.
It is the most wholesome event.
It's so wholesome,
ever.
I'm embarrassed. The reason why I don't talk about it, the reason why I'm sort of like Fight Club with it, isn't because we're doing this debaucherous Studio 54 thing. It's Studio 54 levels of fun,
yes,
but it's so damn square. And I think I happen to know that that's the specific reason why people come over. Because the thing is, like, okay, we'll invite about, maybe we'll try to aim for 60 people, and we'll carefully curate things. And I got to go through, you know, some people have security details, some people have, you've seen the amount of people that have been here. But the thing is that it's such an unpretentious, normal moment. I'll give you an example. All right, so the first time that Taylor Swift came, it was literally to zero fanfare. Like, she just walked in, and I didn't even know she was there until 10 minutes in, and I was like, oh, okay, she did show up. That's what's up. She just sits down at Bum B's table, and plays Uno. And that's the thing, like, what I realized, the reason why I threw game night is because I work so much, I don't prioritize joy, and fun things. And I'll figure out a way to monetize my joy. Like, DJing used to be my joy. It's still my joy. But now
it's also your job.
But it's a job. It's an occupation. Drumming is a job and an occupation. Journaling is a job and an occupation. But these used to be my passions. So with game night, at least, there is a 4 to 5 hour period in which 60 strangers are amongst each other, just playing around. But then the next night, I'll get the text, and it'll just be like, yo, man, like, dude, thank you so much. Like, I got to talk to J.J. Abrams about what I thought of and this designer is talking to that writer. And it's not even an elitist thing, because I have...
No. Half of the room is just friends of Questlove who nobody knows from anything or anywhere. That's just, you know?
Right.
That was the most fun I had, was sitting at the table with your boy. I don't even know where he's from.
But it also tells me a lot about people. Look, the way Michael Che hit me, like, yo, dog, man... I was like, yo, you have fun, because this whole thing was like, Michael Che was one of them cats that couldn't quite realize, like, wait, so we're just coming to play games?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. We even had like one particular artist who's like, security detail had to come and sweep the place. And they asked us, like, so where's your medic at? And I was like, medic? It's like, yeah, medic in case something happens. I said, dog, it ain't that type of party. Like, they were like, wait. You guys are really here to, and the way they laughed,
like, cereal,
you're here
to play Uno,
to play games.
Yeah,
And I was like, yeah. And they looked at each other like, wait, that's all y'all doing? I was like, yeah, we're playing games. And they couldn't believe it. And then they witnessed it and was like, oh, this was fun. But literally at the end of the night, I hit him and I was like, so what'd you think? And he was just like, man, it's like Trevor kept... Now, I know Che is the type of guy that will pull another rule out of his hat without establishing.
Completely.
Right. So
let's get into this. I like how people will be like, your reputation is that you're a rule follower. So
am I.
No, but here's the thing that's more specific for me.
Okay.
I'm competitive. Okay, we start with this. I'm competitive. And the thing I never understand is this. If we cannot agree on the rules of a game, then how can we agree on who has won or lost said game?
Right.
The thing that gets me is let's just agree on the rules. I'll be playing Uno with somebody. I'll be playing Crazy 8 with somebody. I'll be playing whatever card game it is. I'll be playing a game with somebody. And then they'll go, oh no, that doesn't do that. So it's like, okay, wait, let me just look. Official rules.
Right.
This is what I'm saying. Official rules of Uno is that if somebody puts down a take two, you cannot add to that. Now, I'm saying I play the game where you can as well, but man, I can play and one, I can play NBA, I can play, like, you know what I mean, 3v3. I can play every style of game.
A lot of my black guests. All right, so I got a lot of pushback from my black guests.
Because we stack.
Right, so there's levels of stacking.
And I love stacking, but let's agree that we're stacking.
I get it. Yes, you're right. And so
let's agree, people. That's all I'm saying. Because sometimes what happens is it goes halfway around the table, and then someone else goes, "Oh no, but you don't stack," and then everyone at the table is like, "Oh, okay, no, not okay."
Yeah.
So here's what happened on that one in particular. So we weren't playing one game. So what I love about your game nights is you'll get to a table, you'll find a game.
Yeah.
You don't even know what game you're going to play. So you get to the table, there's a whole bunch of games laid out. And on this occasion, there was a Barbie version of Uno. Okay? Which I've never played before. I don't think anyone's played before.
Mattel sent us every type of
there was
Uno
like
game.
A special type of Barbie Uno. So now there were new rules.
Yes.
Okay? So now everyone's at the table going, what do we do? Now, I'm not the kind of person who will pontificate on the possibilities of playing when I can just pull out the instructions.
The rule books, right.
If we don't know how to play the game, let's read the instruction. So I go, let me read the rules. Michael Che goes, of course you're going to read the rules. Then I'm like, what do you mean, of course? Do you not wish to know how to play the game? He's like, I'm sure we can figure it out. I'm like, we cannot figure it out. I don't know what a Margot Robbie card does. I don't know if you do. He's like, we can figure it out. No, Michael Che, we cannot figure it out. And my thing is, Michael Che is so cool. He's going to ooze cool. But he's one of those people who will confidently walk down the wrong road.
Right.
Just to, like, I'm the kind of person to be like, let's pull out a map and see if we're headed in the right direction.
You and I are the same.
Right?
Yes, we're born in the same.
I read the rules, and it turns out like the America Ferrera card and the Margot Robbie card are very different.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of things you got. The Issa Rae card has a different vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The Kate McKinnon card does a completely different thing. So these are all things that I was trying to explain to the group so we could make the game fun. Because if the rules don't exist, then the game isn't.
But yeah, you got a reputation as the hall monitor.
Man, he even at the table, he was roasting me. You know what? I had every trauma from school come back.
I knew it.
Where I felt like a nerd who had like actually done the reading or actually done.
Teacher's pet.
That was him.
Exactly.
That was him. Michael's lucky I went to therapy.
It was good for someone to have it instead of me because I'm always the teacher.
You're usually that guy.
So I was like, whew, all right, Trevor took the heat off me.
This is like, I'm here for game night. I'm not here for socializing night. I'm here for game night. The socializing is secondary to that experience. So I'm here predominantly for the game.
I've realized, so moving forward, we decided that each table should have their own captain, and that captain will establish what the house rules are.
That is what I'm talking about.
So next time, Trevor, you will have your own table. It's your
I don't even need to be a captain. I just need the captain to know what the rules of the game are.
No, you're a captain, dog. Like,
I'll take it. I love it, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here now. Because honestly, this is, wow.
Thank you.